Welcome to another episode about People Ask About Web3, the show where we learn about different Web3 topics, different Web3 business models, companies, entrepreneurs, and so forth. And we try to demystify what the Web3 is going, how the Web3 is going to change the way that we work and the way that we live and that we do business. Today, we're going to be talking about something super interesting. We're going to be talking about token design. Now, if you ever happened to invest in a cryptocurrency, you should be probably looking into the token design of that cryptocurrency, unless you want it to be a failure like more than 90% of all of the cryptocurrencies that have ever been created. Today on the show, we have two amazing guests. They are from Kazakhstan and they are creating amazing work in the field of token design. We have Becca and Ax. I'm going to ask you guys to introduce yourself, and then we're going to jump right into best practices for token design, how to build a token design, examples, and so forth. So I leave the floor to you guys, and I can't wait to start this.
Hi, hello. My name is Alex. Thank you for inviting to the podcast. So, a little bit of introduction. I do partnership with Thing Interculture. So, we are basically the company from Kazakhstan that provides blockchain services as well as token design and tokenomics. I'm very new to Web3 because I used to work in GIS and in geographic information system projects and also in remote sensing techniques. And I was actually invited to, test myself in this field, whether it works or not. So, yeah, great to be here. Big Sultan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us, Gregor. My name is Becca. I'm the team lead at Tokenomics department in our company. And I have been with this company since 2020. And my background is in economics and finance. That's why in the beginning, we started out token development using Excel. In 2020, it was a thing, and that was the journey of token engineering.
So let's go back a little bit more into how did you guys get into token design? Because token design is something really new. You should have an economic background. That makes absolutely sense. But how do you start being an expert in token design and in tokenomics?
Yes, I have a lot of people asking the same question. I have had a lot of students as well. So first of all, of course, we are talking about the economics, and you have to know the game theory and a lot of studying useless formulas, I would say, but very useful when it comes to a very specific niche. And
Let me just interrupt you for a second. I studied economics, so I have a BA in international economics. So what do you mean useless formulas? And how does tokenomics take from economics?
Yeah, so initially we are talking about token and economics. The synergy of those two words give us what we have today, the tokenomics. And if you remember during the studies, you had a lot of formulas that you were like, okay, we are studying this, we need this for that. And for example, Monte Carlo, okay, we have a Monte Carlo. We know that a lot of casinos use Monte Carlo method, and when analyzing their profit, and that they always have to stay the ones who always win. And why do they do that? It's because they have mastered full formulas and parameters in which they have to keep their customers. You might be the beginner, and the beginner's luck happens, and so on. But when I was in college, I didn't understand why we needed integrals, for example. Why do we need to learn a little bit of math when we come to economics? And that's why I was like useless. At the beginning, they were useless.
And how do you use integrals in tokenomics?
There are several ways. For example, when you're building an AMM, automated market making, it's basically
Okay. We are getting into some. Let's maybe keep it a little bit more high level, because that's maybe information that maybe I'll ask you later on once we start getting into detail. How do you use integrals in tokenomics? Let's keep it simple for the beginning, for everybody to keep to build on what we
Sure.
discuss. How do you start building? Why is tokenomics important? Let's start with that. Why is tokenomics important?
Mhm.
I think I have something to add here. Sorry for interrupting in case. So, as I'm responsible for partnering with funds, with lots of startups, with lots of Web2 people that are trying to invest in Web3, I get a lot of requests to explain what we mean as token design and tokenomics, because I see that it's pretty new to the market and everybody has their own understanding of what it is. And we basically get a lot of questions whether it's going to be just an Excel sheet with a lot of parameters in it that you can put a lot of data into it in order to get an outcome or as a report. And I say that we have our own view and our own method of doing token design. It's just a complex integration of a lot of instruments and a lot of data into web as we're digging deeper into web. So yeah, Pika, if you have anything to add to that case.
Yeah, in simple terms, why we need it. For example, when building a bridge, why do we need the design of the bridge? Why is it so important? Because we have to consider different things, like what's the wind going to be and how many cars going to pass. So if you fail to build a good design, that architecture that holds the bridge, the bridge will not fail. But if you don't do a good design, the bridge will fall. We had a lot of catastrophical, unfortunate cases where bridges were beautiful enough, but that they failed to do their main job. So that's why we need tokenomics.
So what
You mean
is
about
the? Go ahead. Sorry. No. Go ahead, please.
even about simulating a lot of cases at once, like, because I really do have questions because I don't really understand it in a deep thing. So we do the we play with the scenarios at time, or it takes a lot of time to play with the scenarios, because we've mentioned that we do replicate all of the scenarios up to 40,000 at times. Like, my question is whether if we do this at the same time, or it just takes, I mean, a lot of weeks to play with the scenarios.
Wait, so you're talking about scenarios that you're simulating different economic
Yes, the
conditions
simulation.
for the token that you are creating. So I don't know, you're simulating people buying it, people selling it, different market conditions, or other kind of simulations. What are we talking about?
We are talking about creating a digital twin. Speaking high level, we just copy paste this system that wants to be built on Web3 on blockchain, and we just create agents that they have a purpose, like they can stake their tokens, farm their tokens, sell data, and earn tokens. And we create all the parameters, and we let the agents do different kinds of stuff randomly. And there are like up to 50,000 scenarios that we simulate. And it happens in a matter of minutes, because we create code. And during this code, it just goes through all of it at once.
Okay,
But
I
who
think
comes
this is
up with different scenarios? Sorry for interrupting. But who comes up with different scenarios? Does the code does it by itself, or
that's
it's
a
the
good
rat cat
question.
or machinations?
No, we come up with different scenarios. We come up with possibilities in in the restriction of our own requirements for the system.
So what are the maybe we'll get back to this topic later because this is a very interesting topic, but I want to ask before let's start from the beginning. I am a Web2 project and I would like to create a token, or what are the most important considerations when we want to design a new token? What should a person that is looking maybe to either create a token, I don't know if there is a difference, or to purchase a token, what should they look for in the token design?
First thing comes down to really the question why. Like, why do you need token in a Web 2? There might be a lot of reasons. For example, I have just found out about a wine company that they have a blockchain integrated. How it works is that on a stamp of the bottle stamp, there is a QR code that you scan, and you can find out all the information about the logistics of the wine bottle, where it was produced, and what type of grapes were used and for how long. And so this kind of company might actually need tokens to interact with services like logistics arrived. Some tokens are unlocked, and those tokens get transferred to another place to keep tracking the wine bottle. So to interact with the real world, that might be one case. Or there might be another company who wants to pay salaries for their employees in tokens as well. For example, partially in their own token, or other tokens for the salary. So it depends from the case to case. But first thing to take a look at is like why, and how exactly this token works. Like, what kind of benefits are they? Only simply exchanging, or holding these tokens grants me some type of access, for example, for voting, or yeah, things like that.
So before getting more into detail of that, so what you said is basically why. You got to figure out why you need a token. I know you guys worked with loads of interesting projects, very high profile projects. So I want to ask you guys, maybe give me a couple of examples of how your clients or the companies that you have worked with are using the tokens that they have created. What are the benefits that they are bringing to their users, and how is this benefiting them also by not just using conventional fiat currency?
One of the best examples that I can locally share is that we have created the tokenomics design for learn to earn platform. So this is like a big IT hub that they teach students for free, but students refuse to study. Like they take the courses, and some of them, more than 60% of them, end up not finishing the courses. And what we have done is that we have created an additional motivation for students to finish their courses and earn special badges, and plus earn rewards in tokens for finishing each course. And then these tokens can be spent on merchandise, and they don't hold a fiat-based value. They just hold like internal value within the hub. So they have access. If they own certain badges, they have access for special courses. And plus,
Question, just let me interrupt you right there. I have a question. Why is this different than having it on Web 2? Why don't we just create a value that is just like points, and based on those points, that's just like basically the coins that you get? Why not doing it like that?
Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to integrate as well recruiters. So having your profile within this IT hub is basically having to show your experience transparently.
Okay.
That was the
Makes perfect sense. It gives transparency and clarifies the profiles of the people, making them authentic and making them certified on the blockchain. So okay, I understand. Perfect. Okay. All right, cool. I also wanted to ask you, Ax, you were telling me previously that you guys have been working with some important companies and creating some very interesting partnerships. Any other companies that you guys are working with, and how are they adding or using tokens in a creative way?
Sure. I am not sure if I could answer in details as Bika does, but we recently partnered up with the Cortana Foundation as a partner who does the economics for its applications, because they receive, 50 or 60 publications per week or per month. But about the values, I can only say about the JS companies that, well, I can only say about the projects that I have experience working with, and I had a degree previously. And as for the one case that I can remember of about the value of token design and the token itself, it's for the company that does the digitalization of, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly in English, but it's all about smart city and using the data that has been extracted from the Sentinel-1 and Sentinel-2 instruments. So they do it just for the privacy things, because well, mainly the company that is doing the GIS for the smart city, they are partnered up with the government, who care mostly about the security and about the transparency of the projects. So yeah, so the token thing just helped them to make it more um, make it more comfortable to monitor, and make it more comfortable to make everything transparent, that the transparent about the data that has been used in order to use for the smart city project. I'm not sure if if I explained to you in a very correct way or in a very detailed way, but just the how to say, just the general info.
My understanding is that they are using the token to add benefits to the citizen, or to whoever is going to be using this, by providing
For government.
transparency for the government, by providing the transparency in the services that they're going to be offering.
Yes, and for easy to monitor where the data has been extracted.
Awesome, cool. So that's a few examples. Maybe later we can touch on a couple of more examples. I wanted to go back to what we were talking previously. Also, we're talking about building a right token. So before starting to build a token, you need to answer the question of why you're building the token, what value is it going to bring, why building a Web3 token. So what are some of the parameters that make these tokens sustainable in the long run? So what in the token design makes it a good token, a token that can survive market crashes or other cryptocurrencies crashing, or liquidity pools just not acting the way that should be, and so forth. So maybe without going into, I know it can get very technical, but if you have just maybe some high level considerations, uh, anyone, Becca or Ax, whatever you think that could be easy to understand for people that are not experts in economics, but they would like to understand if a token has been designed properly.
Yeah. So most important thing, when we also have like people who come up to with a pre-built tokenomics, like could you just consult with the tokenomics that we came up with? And what I firstly look at is if it's a decentralized project. Do they own more than half of the tokens? That's the first thing. And how much of the tokens got sold to seed investors, to the venture capitals, because those tokens are the highest return in terms of ROI, because we have a good example of Solana, and who sold so many tokens to different ventures, and gave out a lot of tokens to their team members. Um, and since the beginning, it was a red flag for me, because I need the majority of the tokens to be distributed to people, not the um, venture capitals. They buy for cents and sell. They might even sell when it comes to $1, because they will have so much profit if it hits $1. But we saw Solana hit $200.
Yes, exactly. I know.
That return.
Yeah.
So
So just to recap, that's a very interesting observation. You're saying that always usually tokens start with the private sale, where investors, early investors, they get the token for the lowest price and for the best conditions. So you're saying that if the majority of these tokens are obviously held by the company and in private equity, that is not a good thing for the token. Why? Because they will be incentivized to sell a large amount of these tokens when the token is going to be doing good, so bringing consequently the price of the token down. Okay, I understand. That's a very interesting and a very easy to understand, I think, for everybody, way of analyzing a token. Any other way that kind of tokens can create long-term value for their holders, to understand how a token can be beneficial in the long term?
yeah. So for I love Bitcoin. Like this is what got my eyes on, and what got me passionate about blockchain technology, is that Bitcoin holders, they just hold Bitcoin for Bitcoin. Like this is a future currency, very futuristic, I would say. I don't want to say future, but futuristic type of money that belongs to me only, and I feel that portion of ownership that nobody can take away. I'm safe, and in the future, I'm sure that Bitcoin adoption will be global. So if I start buying this currency, for me to start living in the future with just paying with the money that I piled up, already gives me a lot of different reasons to hold Bitcoin, not for the purpose to sell with a profit, but just to start paying with Bitcoin in the future. We're talking 5-10 years.
Okay, that was going to be my question. What do you think is going to be that future? Well, some countries, that future has already became reality. Like obviously, like I think it's Ecuador, and then there is another Central African country that has adopted it this year. So there is a couple of countries that are already using it and as as a currency, officially recognized currency, legal tender. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about token design, both of you guys. What steps do you think need to be taken to ensure that a token is scalable, secure, and could be a good investment? So we heard already about the allocation of the token. Is there any other things that could be red flags, both in terms of kind of token design or anything that goes around the token?
Another part to look out is maximum supply, um, because we have a lot of projects that need additional printing of tokens. Of course, like it goes without saying. For example, Ethereum, unlimited supply. Why we are telling unlimited is that because uh, the team doesn't want to run out on staking rewards, uh, since it moved from proof of work to proof of stake. And even in the proof of stake, as a reward, uh, they were very cautious of not running out of tokens in the project. And that's an important aspect. In some projects, unlimited supply, meaning that they can print more, the initial smart contract holds the option to print more, is already a red flag if it's not necessary. Um, in projects that are built on top of blockchains, for example, projects built on Ethereum, they layer two, we call them layer two, and the layer two projects not necessarily need unlimited supply, because they don't have the reward paying and limited gas, like limited tokens scenario. So that's that. Look out for the unlimited supplies, I would say.
But the other red flag I think it is, but that I personally don't understand, is that the projects that are doing the similar token thing, because when I ask about the business process that they're going to implement in the token, they always say about the transaction to pay the bills, to pay for the other things. But what is the difference between all these projects that are doing the same thing? Like, why would I, as a user of them, why would I have to choose their token to pay for my bills? That's the other, I think, the red flag that comes to my mind as a potential user to one of those tokens. And I'm still digging into the
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Hello?
Beka, if you remember the last case that we had with the token thing, that they are doing it for the transaction things.
Um, could you remind me? I
We had a
forgot.
call yesterday, Andrea.
I still can't
We'll just
remember.
wait for him.
Okay, let me remember about Andrea.
Hey guys.
We had so much
Oh.
calls.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, there was my computer just died for no reason, and it came back on live. It's cool. It's interesting. These things happen. These things happen live.
Yeah, it's
Anyways, I'll edit this part in the podcast. Anyways, awesome. Sorry, you were saying about the red flag before I kind of just disappeared.
Mhm.
Would you mind
yes.
going back
we
into
were.
that? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I just ended up talking about the similar business processes that all the um, that some of the tokens have. They have just the similar business process, and okay, they will do their work. They do token design. They release their token. But what comes next is about the fundraising, and is about the crypto marketing. And as a potential user of one of those tokens, I just have a question in my mind: that is it a red flag that all the other tokens that are being released, they have the similar business process, the business process for doing the transaction things?
Good point.
Yeah.
So that I see that more like competition, kind of. I have different like metaverse worlds. They all have their own token. Which one of theirs is going to be the one that is going to be used everywhere? I don't really know. It's kind of competition, right? Or no? Is that what you
Yeah,
meant?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant that because when I ask about their unique thing, they just
Exactly.
have nothing to add,
It's
nothing
the
unique.
same as all the other one. I'm going to use the token to make
Yeah, it's the
transactions. I'm
same.
going to use what is the real value, like Becca was talking about previously.
Exactly.
I want to ask you guys one more question. So what's next in token design? how are we going to make these tokens better, basically?
Yeah, we have to massively recognize the importance of tokenomics to begin with, because I saw how important the token design was in 2020, but the majority of the startups didn't even care. And we have to make it normal to, for example, the code of smart contracts, they get audited. It's important, and the people need it for the safety. But it's tokenomics, token design is not less of an importance. It's also very important, that needs close attention of other people. And after we recognize the value of tokenomics, we start creating this new profession in Web3, the token engineers. We start having more token engineers who help build a good design. And I think that's the next step for tokenomics. A
So you're
professional.
saying there is going to be a demand in qualified token engineers, basically people that know how to create the. So finally, those people that studied economics, they're finally going to have a position, an actual position where they can apply all of the theory that they learned in university and not end up in jobs like, I don't know, doing something random, because there's very few jobs that actually apply economics, economic majors and things like that.
Exactly. Thanks for clarifying. That's what I mean.
Have you tried using ChatGPT to create a token design?
I have. I couldn't get my hands off ChatGPT for a week. I have to be honest, because it's a fascinating AI tool that I'm
Yes.
passionate about. But no, I haven't tried creating token model. But that would be an interesting part, because I'm sure, there are not many token engineers to begin with in the world, and not. I would be one of the first ones to start teaching tokenomics, ChatGPT, because it learns from the
There you
tool.
go. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
That's could be a very interesting thing. And next week when I go to ChatGPT and I ask it, can you create me a sustainable token design and model and write me a white paper about a token to be used in a metaverse, it's gonna produce everything for me in just like yeah, exactly. Awesome, guys. Do you want to add anything to our conversation? Do you guys think that there is anything else that the listeners should pay attention to when thinking about tokens, or anything else in general that we didn't talk about during the show?
um, so one thing I wanted to talk about is that nowadays tokens are being used as a source of financial activities. For example, investing and holding and quick flips and so on. But in my opinion, the market has already cleared a lot of people out. It was like major and bloody war, taking out those unnecessary people who don't know what's Web3 and what they don't understand blockchain, but they want to have a quick income. I want to say to them that blockchain technology and the tokens, they are not designed. Of course, Bitcoin is, and many others, but it's not a way to earn money like flipping. If you want to hold a real tokens and you believe in the project, you have to first analyze the team. What's the team behind? For example, I know I'm very passionate about Polkadot. For example, they are trying to build a layer 0 blockchain. It's like the blockchain of that connects all the blockchains seamlessly. And I know who is building it, Gavin Wood, who is a great mathematician, and he's one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and he knows what he's doing, and I'm sure whatever he does, he will succeed because of the track record. So that's why I hold, for example, Polkadot coins, tokens, and because there's a long-term value in it. Things like that. This is the topic that we didn't touch regarding investments and quick flips.
Well, that's I think that has been on everybody's mind. Investments in quick flips. The majority of people in crypto are there because they think of easy gains, or they have seen few examples of people getting rich because of investing very little in projects that then, like Solana, where you invested a few cents and then it hit 200. Obviously, there you made quite a bit, thousands of percent profit if you stayed until there. So those things make a lot of people go, but the majority of people actually loses in Web3, and they lose their money to the venture firms and to the larger investors that pretty much know what they're doing. They know in which projects to invest. They're not pumped up by hype and by promises, and they actually look at, like you said, the team that is behind the project, what they have achieved so far, and the track record of the different people to know if they are actually just talking a lot of things or they're actually going to be building what they are talking about. And yeah, this is something that really nobody knows which project is going to be the success, because there are also some of them are also competing amongst each other. But that's super interesting because yeah, competition gives rise to better solutions. So I'm super excited about what Web3 has, what is coming, and of all of the new cryptocurrencies. Just one last question before we go, guys. Is there any new projects maybe that you guys are working on or following, or any other projects in the community that you would like the listeners or also me to maybe take a look at, and that might be worth analyzing and thinking about potentially investing in the future?
I don't want to give any financial advices, honestly, but
good point. No financial advice, but this is just not investing, but about analyzing a project. Is there any project that might be worth taking a look into for whatever reason you might want, that is just interesting?
Yeah. So as you heard my reasoning, for example, I love Polkadot. I'm passionate about it because of the Gavin Wood, the founder. So for the same reason, I love Algorand, and Algorand is a blockchain that runs on smart contracts, and it also mainly focuses on corporates and so on, and they are extremely I think, in my humble opinion, they are going to be very successful because Algorand founder is Sylvia D. I think he's one of the founders of Zero Knowledge ZK rollups. There is another lady as well. I forgot her name, but Sylvia was the founder of Algorand, and I know that this ZK rollups are getting more and more popular because it's a revolutionary. I know that you are not lying without even taking a look at the details. So that's the kind of knowledge ZK offers, that kind of service that ZK offers. It's a revolutionary, and he moved on to build Algorand, and it's doing pretty good. But the tokenomics part, it's a little bit, a little bit, it needed a little work before launching, because, yeah, I'm not gonna get into details, but yeah, I love Algorand, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna do great. And green
Corporate
energy.
blockchain. I believe it's a corporate blockchain made for scaling and for helping large companies ensure like loads of contracts, work fast, and so forth. Awesome, cool, guys. Thank you, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being my guests today, for sharing your knowledge and sharing your information with me and the listeners. All of the information, your contact information, I will leave in the description. Also, all of the questions and a transcript of what we have talked about. This live stream is going to become a podcast. For links, for information about that, links in the description below. Thank you once again for taking the time to be here, and
Thank you for inviting.
we can do this again in the future.
Yeah, hopefully. It's an honor. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Ax.
Thank you. Bye.